Welcome back to the Market Wolf. I am the Market Wolf. My internet is fixed and we need to talk about the Chinese economy.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I've got a bad feeling about this too, but it's best to just rip the Band-Aid off, so let's get started. First of all, let's take a look at the calendar of the upcoming events. This week we've got, a few things left of importance, but I really want you to pay attention to next week, as on Wednesday we're going to be getting into the FOMC statement, and then of course at 2:30 Fed Chair Jerome Powell is going to have a news conference, and we know how that's been going lately. Before that, we have the S&P Global U.S. Services PMI. It is the final. Really, we've got a lot of major news coming up, so watch the market calendar. Now, as far as what the Fed is saying, some are still sounding more hawkish, some are still sounding more dovish, but essentially, really everything is hinging on some things right now that the market maybe isn't paying so much attention to. And remember, before my internet left us and I was not able to produce my show, I was telling you to watch out for China. It was one of the last things I spoke about. And I want to bring up a chart right now for us to pay attention to. This is incredibly important. This is Chinese equities here. Yeah, that's Chinese equities. And look, right here, I direct your attention to what happens to the U.S. market. This is the U.S. equities. And yeah, when that happens to China, this happens here. And this was 2020. And look at what happened with China. It was practically simultaneous. Of course, it started in China first. And I'm not saying that we're going to have the bad word here that I can't say happen here, but that's not really the point, because look at this divergence between the Chinese economy. Look what's happening there. And we're sitting here wondering what's going on. And so we need to be prepared and thinking about what our strategy is going to be for this, because for some reason this divergence is happening, and it seems to me that this is going on a lot longer than it should, because wow, I mean, way back here. So let's take a look then at the VIX. Remember, our general narrative is that we are inside of this symmetrical triangle, and of course volatility is popping like crazy. I don't know what to say about it. The VIX has gotten, up to about 33.72 at its high this time around, although we're cooling off a little bit right now, and it looks like we might have further cool down to come, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get a bounce and we continue to coil up inside of here. I'm going to be very honest with you. When we look at the S&P 500, I don't know how much longer we can actually coil up inside the VIX. I've been questioning that for a while. Let me go to the 30-minute. Remember, I've been questioning that the last episode, some of the previous episodes. It just seemed to me that our thesis out to October, yes, hypothetically it could do that, but I think the market could crash before then. And so I want to direct your attention to the S&P 500 on the 30-minute here. First of all, I want to point out that before my internet failed me, if you are new to the show, please click the like button, subscribe, and you're going to enjoy every bit of this. I've been calling it shot to shot, and I want to point out that I did call this massive drop right on the money, and then my internet went out, but I left you with those final words of how we would continue to drop into these two zones, which we did, and I told you we would also bounce, which we did. And I was not here to tell you anything else, but I was leaving messages on Webull, letting people know generally, hey, look at my charts, all the information you need is there, think about what's going on. And so we have been coiling up here inside of these two channels now that we've entered back into. Finally, on the 30-minute, we've gotten on top of the 20 EMA. That's one positive sign. I would say the bad sign is that volume just overall this entire time has not been great. We've had a couple of nice volume spikes. It looks like institutional money's coming back in, but we've had a couple of really large spikes in volume that are exiting. So things not looking wonderful. We do have room to run on the 30-minute, and we are supported by the 20 EMA, so that is important. Now, of course, you know, we've fallen down and we fall into a symmetrical triangle. Not necessarily the most bullish thing in the world. We could break up out of this symmetrical, or we could break down. We'll get more back to my thoughts on that later. I'm going to give you the most bearish case, the most bullish case, because that's what I do here, and then I give you my opinion. So we will get to my opinion. I think you're going to want to stick around for that, because my opinion is most of the time pretty spot on, but I can't be wrong, definitely, and I sometimes am, and it makes me sad, but it happens. And if you're listening to somebody that says they're right all the time, or they just pretend that didn't happen when they were clearly wrong, look, I bring it up on the Market Wolf here, and I talk about it in the comments section. I want you to comment. I want you to tell me what you think. I want to have a discussion about it. I'm not afraid to say when I'm wrong, and that's the kind of person you should be following, not somebody who says they're right all the time. So far, since I've started this channel, and 2 weeks prior, before I started, when I started on Webull, breaking down the market by a very, very long message in the comments section, I've been right essentially about 90 to 95% of the time on how the market moves. And so that's not too shabby. But my opinion ain't everything, and I am wrong. So it happens. Now, let's take a look at the hour. And on the hour, you can see that, you know, we've kind of recovered the 20. That's good. We're hanging there. Market is still in motion aftermarket here. We're really kind of approaching a spot on this symmetrical triangle where a decision is going to have to be made. It's going to be made, oh gosh, I would think pre-market we see either a break up or a break down. We might fall back into the symmetrical and then make a further decision from there. I don't know. We're coiling very, very tight here. So yeah, we've got room to run on the hour as well, so we could hypothetically run up. We've cleared a lot of space. We've cooled off a lot. I think we really are going to see the same thing on the 2 hour, which we do. We've got plenty of room to run. It looks like that the momentum really is to the upside on the 2 hour. You know, 2 hour gives us some good confirmation about what could happen. Okay, so that's something to think about. And let's take a look at the 4 hour, and you can see just the exiting volume on the 4 hour. It's just ugly. It's been a bloodbath. We are just barely hanging on these two channels. On the 4 hour, we're kind of finally cooling off on the downward momentum. It looks like we might want to break up. We definitely have room to run with price action, so the buyers might start coming back in. We need those institutional buyers. This is a nice block of price action here, so I think some institutions are buying here, but really overall the volume's been atrocious, so clearly not all of them, that's for sure. And then on the daily, again, just the momentum has been against us. Perhaps we will see that turn. It looks like maybe we want to see a little more downside, although on the daily we did have good incoming volume today. But overall, you know, it's been bad when we look at those other time frames, but the daily holds more weight. Let's take a look quickly at the weekly just to get a better idea. And I wanted you to see here on the weekly, the 20 EMA and the 50 EMA are starting to curl down. It's not looking great. Not looking great at all there. We do have room to buy. I want to look at one other thing on the daily. Let's go back to the daily momentarily. And let's take a look at the RSI. There you can see this bearish divergence has continued. And yeah, so bear everywhere, bear. Okay? So, best bullish case, best bear case. I'm thinking the best bear case is that, let me go back to the 30. I think the best bear case is that we break down out of this symmetrical, okay? We bounce around here for a while. We continue to further break down this. I've got this red highlighted area here because we're beginning to get into no man's land. It's not completely. When we break where this 150 EMA was, I don't have it up here anymore. I'm sure it's probably moved by now. But still, really around 5'9", 5'10". This is the last major area before you just go down to, I believe, probably about 400. So there's a lot of potential downside here. And once we start breaking those areas, it could get ugly. It could get ugly very fast over the days after that were to occur. that's really the best bear cases. I think we break through these channels through the rest of this week, and we start to really break down. The best bull case, I believe, is that, we may see a breakdown through this symmetrical. We may get top side of it, see a breakdown through, and then get back into the symmetrical. That's very tight. That would all have to happen very quickly. And then we bounce back up. We get a ride up. And we start to build out some structure here. I'll go over that when I kind of give my opinion on what that structure could be, but really just we need that institutional volume. And that could be numerous reversal patterns to where we might build structure and come back up. I think that we would need to get top side of this channel back. You remember this green channel running here is from the previous crash of 2020. We need to get top side of that and get support. That's very important to get back. I think that's the most bullish I could be for the tomorrow, and really probably the rest of the week is getting back top side here, and then really kind of trying to build on that. Now, what I think is going to happen, my opinion. Now, pre-market, I don't like to try and figure it out. It's sketchy. Sometimes you break up, sometimes you break down. Really, there's a lot of stupid there sometimes. Because you'll see it go the opposite direction of what it tends to. What I would say is that I suspect what will happen, since people have not caught on to the China situation yet. Really, and all the bad stuff that's happening over there. I think that's going to continue to move through the news cycle the rest of this week. Maybe people start to catch on. I don't think there's a big understanding yet of what's coming, although I would suspect there would be with institutional. I think the best bull case I can give you, and this is just kind of my case too, I wouldn't even call it really a bull case, this is just a case. I think what's going to happen, I wouldn't call this case a bear case or a bull case. Remember I said I thought we'd finish green on the week? I think that's still possible, but more and more unlikely. I think we break up out of this symmetrical. I think we find support. I think we build some structure. I think we get rejected somewhere. It could be any of these places, but I think the highest we could get is probably that old channel from 2020. We get rejected there, and I think that's as much as you get. I think we get a bounce. We might come back down here and play around a bit and then finally break down. I think ultimately this market is possibly on its way out at this point, to be honest. Now, you have to remember, we did see back previously on this rise up, and I always bring this up, we saw something extraordinarily unusual happen, which was that volume, there was no volume, but somehow we just kept going up, cooling down, going up, cooling down, going up, cooling down, and we came all the way back up to about that 461.99 level, which it was extraordinary because every time I was just like, this should be breaking down. This market should be breaking down right now. I wouldn't be shocked if it was right about there where really at this point, when China was starting to go really bad, that we probably should have been following at that point. I'm really suspicious of this move right here, and I have been for a long time. So don't rule out that we could get a major breakup, a major rip, a major bounce, and then finally that's it, and we just that's it. That's the dead cat bounce. I would be surprised to see us go that high, to be really honest. It's hard to see right now. I do think we have some break up to the upside here. Maybe we don't even go up there. Maybe we just come here. Maybe we test this channel, and then we fall through. And we end the week probably, I would say, red. And then going into next week, that could be about it. I really think that we're coming up on the end of the road. Now that's a major prediction, but again, I don't know how to reconcile. Maybe you can in the comments section let me know, how do we reconcile this? How do we reconcile this divergence between the Chinese market and the United States market? You got most goods coming from there. You got major production coming from there. Of course, we're still, biggest economy in the world. We still have lots of gross domestic product, but we've outsourced jobs to China. I mean, this growth didn't happen for no reason. So, look, I usually just give you the daily. Sometimes I give you the weekly on Friday. I just feel like we've hit a point where I've got to give you the overall picture here. And if we don't have a major breakdown, look, I could be very, very wrong. That's a big call to make, okay? And I very well probably am wrong, because there's always more variables that, there could be on the table that I'm unaware of. But this just doesn't look right. This doesn't look right when you've built up since the late 90s an economy, a kind of a dual economy between America and China. This is not a good look. This is not a good look, and something's going to have to give here eventually. That about wraps it up for this episode. I will see you tomorrow on the Market Wolf. Remember, I give you the best bear case, the best bull case. Please subscribe, share, please like, because if you don't like, this doesn't get out there to people. That's just the way the YouTube algorithms work. I'm not going to force you to hit the like button, but it would be nice if you would hit the like button, because eventually I'll have to stop doing this show if I'm not getting somewhere with this. So, you, my loyal followers, you matter. Please hit that like button. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to see you tomorrow on the Market Wolf.